This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. So we've got some new reporting on the MV Sea Story, the diving boat that apparently capsized and sank off the coast of Egypt on Monday. The vessel had a total of 44 people on board, approximately, including a crew of 13 or 14 people, we're not sure. We've seen reports stating both numbers. Now, a report on the BBC said a diver who helped rescue the first survivors had explained that they'd been rescued from inside the vessel, which was partially sunk. Most of the boat was submerged, but there was about a metre of the boat still visible on the surface. He said there was a hole in the vessel which had allowed air to make it inside the boat, allowing them to breathe. According to the latest reporting, the survivors used a 20-centimetre air pocket to stay alive for around 30 hours. The survivors spoke of battling for their lives in complete darkness as they shared this small pocket of a cabin in which they were trapped for more than a day in cold water, and that's according to one of the crew talking to the Times. One of the diving instructors working on board told his father he sent out a distress signal along with the captain before going to help a couple who were trapped in a cabin. He became trapped also and was among the 5 people rescued on Tuesday, over a day after the boat had capsized. In total, 33 people have been rescued, 4 bodies have been recovered, and there are still approximately 7 people missing. Now, an oceanographer has cast doubt on the claim that a huge wave caused the Sea Story ship to sink, saying the wind conditions were not strong enough. He said, we are getting the same story coming out, mainly from the governor of the region, saying a huge wave hit the ship, he told Sky News. There's no evidence of that. The Egyptian Met Office did issue a storm warning, but that was for the Red Sea and the Mediterranean in general, not specifically to that area. The wind conditions for the region around Marsa Alam weren't that strong and wouldn't create these alleged 3 to 4 metre waves, he added. I still feel that it was probably not a wave that caused the capsize. We need to see an investigation coming out of this. It's still early days, but the information coming out from the Egyptian authorities is still very sparse. We don't know where the vessel is, and we don't know, did it sink? What depth of water is it in? The information being filtered by the Egyptian authority. There's been no direct statements from people from the boat itself. It's all been through the authorities. Now, the Red Sea governor's statement makes me think he's trying to blame anything other than a poorly constructed vessel or poor legislation, because of course they don't want to, affect the tourism. They don't want to stop tourists coming to the area to dive and bring money into this country. His office released a statement, which I mentioned in the previous video, which he said a technical defect on the boat was ruled out by the Red Sea region's governor, Amir Hanafi, who said all the necessary safety permits have been obtained. But having safety permits does not rule out there was an issue with the vessel, right? I mean, even if the vessel was up to code, it could have had a failure at any moment after that. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't account for poor maintenance after being built or poor build quality in the first place. Now, one of the people who contacted us, who was previously a guest on board this vessel, not when it sank, but in a previous trip, he's the chap who sent us the photographs that we put in the last video showing the condition, the quality of the bridge on this vessel. He told us that the VSAT antennas on the top of the vessel, which I pointed out in the first video, I said they should have had satellite communications because they had 2 VSAT antennas. Well, he told us that those VSATs were empty and they were for show only. So they're just fake VSAT antennas, basically. It makes me wonder if the life rafts were also fake or maybe in poor condition or inoperable. He also told us that the smoke detector in his cabin was a battery-operated smoke detector, which is obviously clearly not connected to any central fire control system on a bridge, as it would be on a yacht or ship built to proper codes. Now, the Sea Story is not the first vessel operated by Dive Pro Liverboard this year to sink. On the 22nd of February this year, another vessel operated by Dive Pro Liverboard caught fire. MV Sea Legend sank as a result of the incident, and it happened at night during a diving trip about 3 kilometers from the Egyptian coast. Now, the official reports from Egypt in the following days told a very positive narrative. Despite the impending disaster, all persons on board the Sea Legend were rescued unharmed. At the time of the incident, there were 17 tourists from various countries and a crew of 14 on board the ship. All 31 people on board the Sea Legend have been confirmed safe. That was the official statement. However, survivors of the incident spoke of inadequate safety introductions when they first went on board, poor ship's equipment and general maintenance and condition of the vessel. And in a similar fashion to the sea story, they gave a list saying there were 13 crew members, but after the rescue it turned out there were 14 Egyptian crew on board. The discrepancy in the number of crew led the authorities to assume that nobody was missing. The survivors said that only some cabins were equipped with life jackets. They said there was no rescue drill and no instructions given to the guests on possible routes from the lower decks out onto the decks of the vessel. They also said that the smoke detectors were probably non-functional, saying that they did not notice any LEDs flashing on them. And when the fire was detected, it was detected by the guests, and the guests tried to extinguish the fire with fire extinguishers, and they said the crew were running around in a rather uncoordinated manner. The fire extinguishers, the first 2 fire extinguishers they picked up did not work, and only the third one worked, but it was too late to put out the fire. All the rescued passengers had made it onto the shore, and they realised that there was only 16 of the 17 international guests on board. Remember, we said that there was a misunderstanding to how many crew was on board. So there was one passenger unaccounted for, which is still missing, but the Navy, who had been involved in the rescue, as in this latest one, and the crew didn't realise that one of the passengers was missing, and the missing German diver was never found. Anyway, that's all we've got for now. Like I said in the first couple of videos, I would certainly not be going near this company. That's 2 fatal accidents in 1 year. Two of their vessels have sunk in 1 year. And remember, last year we reported on 2 other incidents in the same area. A vessel called Hurricane, which caught fire, and another vessel which also sank as well. So, it's a very dangerous place to go to be on board these vessels. So, yeah, I can't say anything positive about what's going on there. Now, if you know anybody who's on board, who was on board, if you were one of the people who was on board, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your story. You can get us in the email address in the ticker, and you can get us on the About page of the YouTube channel, and you can get us on social media also. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.